Hello and welcome to Oddities for round 19. You'll notice that not every game is featured in this. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch every game, but I'll try and do my best with this limited video. In the first clip, you can see Oddities loses track of the ball, and he just totally looks like he's John Travolta out here. He has absolutely no idea where the ball's gone. In a game that I was expecting to be a very one-sided affair, North Melbourne actually did kick up quite the fight, and they had a chance in the fourth quarter to sort of come back in the game and have a chance to surprise Carlton. Eddie Ford has the goal no less than 9 metres out, pretty much straight in front, and somehow shanks this kick. Game over. This goal was extremely important to the Brisbane Lions with their comeback win. McCluggage gets the ball sharked off a handball from the Swans, and to me I think he's just getting boot to ball just to get it inside the forward 50, but makes quite the connection with it, and you can see it actually goes over the heads of everyone and goes through for a goal. Sometimes I guess luck is just on your side. Draper marks the ball probably 10 metres or so out, straight in front, and I guess the old commentator's curse has come into play here, even though nothing was said about it. Quite the interesting one, because you can see the stat down the bottom where the scores kicking to the right of screen were 8 goals 12, and sure enough the commentator's curse got him and he completely shanks the kick. Is this the commentator's curse or the statistician's curse? Is that even a thing? In this clip here, it's a pretty good example of why you need to make sure that the tackle sticks or that you hold on long enough as LDU tries to tackle Fogarty, and Fogarty doesn't really do much to try and lose the tackle. It's just a very loose tackle by LDU, probably trying to pressure him into handballing, and he just stands up in the tackle, so well done to him. Goes through and kicks a goal. You just have to make sure you nail those tackles. I found this one a little bit strange as the Tigers are getting pushed back in their defensive 50. Broad receives the ball and he's going around the goalpost where he takes the ball behind it and then tries to play on as if the ball hasn't gone behind the line. I guess he's trying to trick the umpire into thinking that it's sufficient intent to keep the ball in. What do you reckon? Should this one been paid a deliberate? I think Broad knew exactly what he's doing, so I think this should have been a free kick. Sometimes it makes me wonder what goes through the selection team at Port, because Asava Radaglia should not be playing A-grade footy. You can see that he kicks this ball back inside his defensive 50. It just leaves way too much airtime on it. Gives Menzel enough time to run on, spoil the mark, and go through and kick a goal. If he's going to hit this kick, it's got to be way lower than that. He just left it up in the air, ready for the defender to spoil it. Just a terrible, terrible kick. With only 2 minutes left, the ball gets knocked clear and the Lions kick it towards their forward 50. And as you can see, there's actually 2 Swans defenders there, and they could have easily made this their ball and rebounded inside their forward 50. But for some reason, Blakey didn't set a screen, didn't try and shepherd the ball for maybe Rampy. I can't exactly see who the other player is. But because Blakey was going for the ball, all Cal Archie had to do is slightly push him in the side and then takes the 2 Swans defenders out. Unfortunately, he doesn't kick the goal, but that could have been the icing on the cake just from both players not playing as a team, trying to win the ball individually. Sometimes you just got to do that self-sacrifice thing and put a block on for a teammate just to ensure that you guys win the ball. In the second quarter, Charlie Curnow marks the ball inside the forward 50, and we already know he goes across the body for these kicks for some reason, and he usually plays on pretty early, which is exactly what he did for this one. But unfortunately, he's just completely miskicked the ball and almost kicked it in the opposite direction from goal. Now that's odd. Charlie Dixon has just completely ragdolled Baker. Probably not enough time to be considered holding the ball, but he's just thrown him around like he's a little kid. It was very wet weather footy, but there was 2 slips in a row between Banks and Wines, which I thought was quite funny. It was absolutely pouring down with rain and a very, very cold night, so I guess they get a pass for that. This is the first one that I've seen paid in quite some time. As Baker's getting tackled, it almost did look like it went high from Jason Horne-Francis, but according to the umpire, Baker ducked, so therefore that's your prior opportunity, so it's holding the ball. I would love to see this paid way more often. There's still way too many players who are ducking for frees. Ben Keys easily gets 3 votes for this game against the Bombers. But what I'm highlighting in this clip here is that Mason Redman is more worried about the contact that's coming than getting off the clean handball to Kelly. If he got the clean handball off, then Kelly would have been able to clear this with a kick. But the handball is poor, so then he has to double grab and eventually drops it, has to go back, which gives Rochelle and Murphy enough time to go back and secure the ball and then end up as a Crows goal. Just a rushed play and way too worried about getting contact rather than actually doing the right thing. That might be a bit harsh, but that's just how I saw it. This hit from Guelphy on Smith was quite nice. There's no better feeling than just completely dropping someone on their bum. Brad Hill making a mistake makes the oddities list, as he's usually silky smooth with his skills, but it looks like he's decided to change his mind mid-kick and completely ends up shanking it. As the Crows get the ball inside their forward 50, Mackay, the defender for Essendon, gets the ball and just handballs it straight to Keys. Keys ends up kicking the goal. It's a little bit hard to see on this one, but I remember seeing some footage where you can actually see Keys is calling for it, so he knows Mackay's got it. But he's gone, yeah, and he ends up actually tricking him into handballing it to him. It's just a little bit funny. Fogarty's marked the ball probably 40 to 45 metres out on the very left boundary. The umpire has given Laverty a huge amount of space to move forward, probably overstepping where the true mark was, but that doesn't bother Fogarty. He goes back and slots the goal. Just the kicking action, he makes it look so easy. I wish I could kick that far so easy, but I guess I'm just not built like Fog. It always seems like it's Carlton who, especially Mackay, let get away with any sort of head knock, and they don't do a HIA straight away, and I don't know why. You can clearly see that Mackay's been injured with this head knock, as it's an accidental run into the back of Eddie Ford's head. The club doctors take ages to take a look at it, and I reckon it's almost 10 minutes later that he actually comes off and completes the HIA. I think they've done that a couple times before, so it's just a little disappointing to see that they don't take him off straight away after he's clearly dazed, and as he stands up he does stumble a little bit. Saw that earlier in the year when he's running away from the boundary line and he couldn't run in a straight line and didn't come off for a HIA. I'm just starting to see a little bit of a pattern here from Carlton, and I don't like it. Michael Annie from the Crows has just absolutely crunched Gresham. You've got to love these bumps, but you got to be very careful. Get it too high and you're in trouble. This one was executed perfectly. It was wet weather footy, but you can see Jai Newcomb almost dives on the ball. He does sort of stumble and falls on top of the ball, and he holds the ball for a very long time and he just slides along with it. He makes absolutely no attempt to get rid of the ball. Why wasn't this paid holding the ball? Redman caught Rochelle sleeping. As he looks the other way, Redman just runs straight around the defender on the mark. Rochelle's even holding him at one point and is still able to just run straight past him. Pretty poor defence. Felt like this was a pretty crucial point in the game, as McKercher has the ball inside the Roos defensive 50. He tries to fake left and right and Charlie Curnow doesn't bite. McKercher falls down to the ground. Easy tackle for Curnow, who goes back and slots a goal. Puts Carlton up by 10 at that point. That's a pretty big price to pay for falling over in your defensive 50. I'm not entirely sure if Crisp has done this on purpose or not, but as you can see, as the ball's bouncing towards the line, he actually taps it back onto Jath's foot, which then means it's gone out of bounds on the full. The umpires come together and make the decision that yes, it is out of bounds on the full. If he's done this on purpose, very well done. It's a very common basketball trick, which you don't see in footy too often. Sometimes the umpires get it right, and sometimes players like Bolter flop, but this is an easy push in the back free. It's so pronounced, the umpires can see that he's got two hands in his back and he pushes him. Somehow this wasn't paid a free kick for push in the back, which helped Port Adelaide secure the win. And that's it for this week. I know it's a shorter video. Hopefully next week I'll be able to watch more footy and be able to do a lot longer video. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.